Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulihil kareem, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. Amma ba'du, fa'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Wa yas'alunaka 'anil ahillah, qul hiya mawaqitu lin-nasi wal hajj. I'm making this video regarding the beginning of the month of Ramadan. And once again, as happens often, there will be a disagreement for the start of the date of Ramadan, and some people will declare the start of the date a day earlier than it actually is. So this video here, inshallah, will clarify what is the correct day to be starting Ramadan and why are those people making this error once again by starting a day early and dividing the Muslims of this country once more regarding the start date of Ramadan. And we know that the same happens for other months and for the events of Eid as well. So, on the night of Sunday, we will show you here that it will not be possible to sight the moon for Ramadan to take place the following day on the Monday. And we have here information regarding the regarding the moon visibility on Sunday night for the UK, and you can see clearly in the UK on Sunday night the moon is not visible. You can see the same happening here for Saudi Arabia. The same is true for Morocco, and we see the same for South Africa as well. And just a bit of context there is that there will be people who announce Monday as the start of Ramadan and will say that it has been sighted in Saudi Arabia. However, we can see here from the scientific information, and this data is provided by the Royal Observatory in Greenwich, the most authoritative place in the UK to get this data from. We can see here clearly that it is not going to be sighted or be possible to be sighted in Saudi Arabia, even if the Saudi Arabian calendar, which is called Qura, states that Ramadan is starting on this day. Now, we won't go into detail about the calendar for Qura, but we know that the calendar is not based on moon visibility. It's usually declared before the moon is actually visible in Saudi Arabia, and that happens time and time again, and you can see the same is happening here as well. So it's not visible in the UK, and it will not be visible in Saudi Arabia. So if anybody claims that we are starting Eid or starting Ramadan because the moon has been seen in Saudi Arabia on Sunday, now you know that's not correct, and I will show you a map which clearly outlines that as well. If the moon's not sighted in the UK, we often look to Morocco, the closest Muslim country, but we can see here already that the moon will not be able to be seen in Morocco either on Sunday night. And South Africa, which has a similar time zone, although it's not that close to the UK, the time zone is quite similar to the UK, so some people also look at South Africa for that information. So this data here from the Royal Observatory here in the UK, I provided you, and this image has been done courtesy of UK Sunni Ulama of Leicester. I will now turn your attention to the visibility map. So we get this data, and from this data we can derive a map which makes things clearer. So the actual sighting of the moon, and whether it's possible or not, is based on a set criteria, and you can see the criteria has not been met from the data that we can see there in this particular image. And I'm going to show you now a map of the situation of the moon on Sunday night. So this is for the 10th of March, in order for Ramadan to begin on Monday, and for the Tarawih to be prayed on the night of the 10th. So you can see here again, the moon is not visible anywhere in the world. There's not one place in the entire Muslim world where the moon will be visible. That's true for the UK, true for the whole of the Arab world, the Middle East, for Morocco, South Africa, for all of Africa, in fact. Now, some people may point to the fact that on the west coast of America, North America, uh, San Francisco, for example, there's a small chance, which is category C, from the color coded information there, you can see that it might be visible in San Francisco on Sunday night. First thing to note here is that it's not visible in Saudi Arabia, so they need to change what their criteria is in terms of where was that moon seen, where was it seen. The other difficulty you have is that in most of North America the moon cannot be seen. It's only on this place on the very west coast, or they might even say in Hawaii. And if the moon is going to be seen in the west coast of North America, we know that the time difference is such that there is a day-night change. And according to the scholars of Islam, you cannot rely on a country. That's if you take the opinion that you can take the sighting from another country. You cannot take the opinion, the sighting of another country, if there is a day-night change. Now, the time difference between the west coast of North America is around 8 hours. It's about 8 hours. Maghrib time is similar to what it is here in the UK, in the west coast. So you are likely going to wait for an announcement. If you get an announcement, if there's actually moon sighting happening in these locations, that's another difficulty you've got. Do we have people who are actually going to sight the moon in these locations? And if they do report it, and by the time these organizations verify it, you're looking at like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. In the UK. And of course, we are not going to wait that long because you have to pray the Taraweeh and you have to begin the fast. And if you think about it, if you're going to wait that long, 3, 4 in the morning, that's the time for your sahur here and imsak in the UK. You would already anyway, even if you do, for example, or for argument's sake, take a report from somewhere like San Francisco in the west coast of America, that would already mean that you're going to start the fast on Tuesday anyway, because you've got the report. And by the time you actually receive the report in reasonable time, you will be fasting on Tuesday anyway. So for both reasons, the fast is on Tuesday. And the important point to underscore here is that we have known in the past that if it shows as category C, because these are based on the data, these are scientists that draw up these maps and say what is the likelihood of seeing the moon. And remember, it's always a likelihood, it's not a certainty, right? There could be cloud as well. There could be cloud. There could be other issues why the moon has not been seen. So let's say there's perfect weather conditions. Even if there are perfect weather conditions, it's category C, which means it still might not be seen. So it's even more uncertain. And we also know that sometimes it's category B as well. Category B, and the moon is not seen. So if you hear any declarations stating that Ramadan for the UK is starting on Monday, you know that's going to be incorrect looking at the information that we've provided here. If I show you the next day for Monday night, you will see that the moon's visible everywhere in the world. So that's not controversial at all on Monday night. And for those people that support a global sighting and say that we should all have it doesn't actually make sense to say global sighting, but we won't go into the details right now about that. But if you want to talk about a global sighting for beginning Ramadan and for Eid, then that's clearly the day of Tuesday to begin our fasts and Monday for the night Tarawih prayer. I hope that's made it clear, inshallah, that there is no possibility for the UK and in fact for anywhere else in Europe or the Middle East and anywhere further east for Ramadan to be starting on Monday. We inshallah will be completing our 30 days and we will make our final decision as we do following the Sunnah and the way of the Sharia, which is to make our announcement on the 29th of the lunar calendar for the official announcement of when Ramadan will begin. But in advance, Ramadan Mubarak to you all.